Three truths to embrace for success in any real estate market.
Today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
Welcome to Wandering But Not Lost, your online source for finding balance so that you can align, connect, and prosper. And now your hosts, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome everyone to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where we align, connect, and prosper. This is episode 325, and you can get all those show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Trying different inflection because I just kind of get in the pattern of doing the same thing. So there you go. Jen O'Brien, I don't know. We've talked about this a lot when we're off the air. Like almost every day we've been talking about
off the air, yes.
Yeah, that there is a malaise or some sort of weird thing hanging over everyone in the world right now. There's a lot of reason for that. You know, everyone can probably point to one thing they think it is, but there are a lot of reasons why that's going on. So I think everyone's just kind of feeling it. So we're going to talk about how, specifically in real estate, you can kind of get over that hump today.
Yes, and I feel like why we wanted to talk about this is I personally had a little bit of this happen for me, and I made those corrections I'm always coaching people to, and we're going to cover that today. But because I really do believe there's these three fundamental truths that if you embrace it, then you can make the pivot. And what I feel is people, not just now, not like today, January of 2025, I think for the last couple of years, there's been a lot of uncertainty. There has been, the facts in real estate is there's been less sales than in previous years. The interest rate has been high compared to, people are comparing interest rates to when during COVID years when people, they were at 4% and lower. And many people in the country, I think it's the statistics say 75 to 80% of people with a mortgage have either refied or got their home and kept the interest rate and have it sold, which is the reasons why there's not as much inventory is a lot to do with inflation, the economy, interest rates, the corrections that have been happening. But let's just face it, the rates have stayed in the 6s to 7s for 2 years plus.
Yep.
So we're going to talk more about that today. So that along with the uncertainty, we've got an incoming new administration. People don't really know what's going to go on. That's causing people to be anxious and focused and being overwhelmed and maybe focusing on the lack and the negative. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So not just buyers and sellers are pausing, but agents are pausing.
Yeah,
and maybe not having their best year ever. And honestly, Cosmo and I talked about this, but we have basically had the last 2 years have been our best years ever. We improved a little bit in 2024 than we did in 2023 because we basically did the things we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share some of that. We always share a little bit about what we do, but we're going to talk first about these truths, but then give you some practical applications. So let's dive into that, right? Because successful agents change and adjust and thrive in any market. That is the truth. I can go back to the foreclosure days. A lot of people got out of the business. There were days where there was more to learn. The short sale market, people who adjusted to that thrived. They learned how to do foreclosures. They learned how to do short sales and negotiate short sales. But it wasn't for everyone, which is all good. So, and that's good too, right? Because if there's people that are saying this is too hard, there'll be less competition in the long run. Plus, I didn't even mention, but we already have the changes of last year with the NAR settlement.
Right.
And the fact that you have to educate buyers and sellers and we're in the middle of making all those adjustments. And I think agents as a group overanalyzed it and you got worried about it and you created more stress and overwhelm when honestly all you had to do is just the things we're going to talk about today. Make the adjustment, have the confidence, and then it just works out fine. All right. So the very first, core truth is people are always going to be buying and selling. There will always be people that need to buy and sell a home. And we're just talking about real estate today. We're going to focus on that. That is the truth. Now, are there less people buying and selling than there have been in previous years? Yes. Is there less inventory? Yes. But it's not like we completely stopped buying and selling houses.
Right.
All right. So real estate transactions don't stop. They just make a shift. They could be different types of people. It could be less numbers and so on. So it's things like economic conditions currently, obviously, the interest rates, the challenges, but life events continue to go on. Relocations, people get a job transfer. They their families grow and they outgrow their home, they want to downsize because maybe everybody has left their home now, family members, or people are having, because of economic conditions, to pool together the resources and buy a house together. We're doing a lot of that. Then there's things like marriages and divorces. These are the things that are going to keep the market moving. Those are the type of sellers that have sold in the last couple of years. And then there's people that are okay with the interest rates being higher. All right. So life events are going to continue to happen. So what is the action steps for you around this? First, you have to actually get that truth and believe it. Even though things have changed and it seems scary and I'm a little bit overwhelmed, there's still people who need to buy and sell. Mm-hmm. So instead of worrying about everything that's happening, focus on connecting with the people who need to buy and sell. All right. That's it. So shift your mindset to find the opportunities in any market. So let's talk specifically. This is what we focused on last year, and we're going to continue to focus on this year in our market, because the two areas we're focused on in Las Vegas is new construction and finding sellers who do want to buy and sell. I mean, sell and maybe buy. And we worked with several of those people last year. And how we did it was through our videos. That is our way we attract people. We do short videos on Instagram, YouTube, currently TikTok, maybe continuing TikTok. And here's the thing. 90% of our leads came from TikTok. A few came from Instagram, and we've had like one from YouTube in the last couple of years. We got some more referrals last year. So maybe 80% came from TikTok videos. So we could freak out. And I had a little moment where it's like, oh my God, TikTok's going to get banned. Is it going to take a while? Because it's been a little bit of a slow start. But part of that was making the adjustment coming off of everything slow a lot of times in December. And if the interest rates were high, and then we're in the middle of an administration change for the presidency. So there's still even more for buyers and sellers pausing, right? So you get through the holidays, but we still had a few people reach out to us. So the bottom line is, once we got through that and said, okay, fine, if TikTok goes away, we already are on the other channels. We're going to adjust so that we can perform better on those channels, because we were optimizing our content for the way it works on TikTok, for example. So we started that a couple days ago. And all we had to do for us was focus on taking action, which we know our formula is simple. Do the activity that generates business, which is creating valuable content in short videos. Post it. We have a virtual assistant who reposts it on the other channels for us. When we do that and we start talking to the people in our comments, we get leads. Well, we've had 3 leads since we started doing that. And you have to have more, because not everybody's ready to buy. When you're dealing with people coming from other states, they start searching months before. Even like, I saw your videos, we want to talk to you, but we're not ready to buy till next year, but can we meet? Okay, that's building the pipeline. Plus, we already have a pipeline of people, and we're going to talk about all that, okay? So you understand, I had to get out of it my own self. I was like, oh my God, there's uncertainty. And as soon as you start going down the rabbit hole of negative, fear-based thinking, you're saying and you're attracting, I don't want to have any clients come to me because I don't think they're out there. As soon as you start going, what we're talking about here today, wait a minute. There's always going to be people who need to buy and sell. Yes, I can't help all the first-time home buyers. And that makes me sad, because I'm upset and mad that a lot of home buyers can't buy houses right now because it's too expensive. Okay, that's true. So the reality is, you might not be able to help all first-time home buyers if that's your niche. So what you have to do is create content, and why we're focusing on new homes is, here's why. You might not have new homes in your market, so you have to figure out what is the opportunity in your market. Here in Vegas, and I'm going to say anywhere in your market, if they are building new homes, the builders are offering incentives. They always offer incentives, but for the last 2 years and a half, since the rates have been 6+, the incentives are great. Okay, we have Lennar offering a 3-2-1 buy down, an FHA. Somebody can get in first year right now, 1.875 interest rate, and then 2.8, 3.8, and then year 4 through 30, it's 4.875. Okay, could that get somebody into a house right now? Can you focus on that? Yeah. So that's exciting to share that message and not be doom and gloom, and then you'll attract people. And not everybody wants to buy a new home. That's fine. We lead with that, and we'll go, great, let's go over here and find you another house, a resale house. So you have to really embrace that. And with new homes, listings, I want to be prepared. because the sellers, let me just say it this way. I truly believe, and I have been saying it for 2 years, homeowners that have a mortgage are in love with their interest rate. It's 3.25, it's 3.5. They do not maybe always love their house, or maybe they've really outgrown their house, or maybe they're tired of their house, but they're not willing to give up a 3.5% interest rate for a 7 or a 6.5. Now, the magic number in my mind is when the rates get to about 5.5 or under 6, more people will decide,
Agreed.
I can't stomach 7, but I can do 5.5, right? Or maybe I can lease out my house now and positive cash flow, and my circumstances are such that I can keep that property and buy another one. Basically, we have some of those people doing that right now. Does that make sense?
It does. And Jan, can we back up for just a second? Because I want to just touch on something that I think is really so important. You and I have known each other for a long time, and I don't love to watch you be miserable, but I love to watch you go through the process, because over the years you have, because you are mindful and you understand that and this goes for anybody, you get in your own way to move yourself forward, and we all do. You have sped that process up as you have become more in tune with the way you are. Because not only did that process, and you're worrying about buyers and sellers and real estate and all that kind of other stuff, but it also prevented you guys from getting out and doing videos, which is the prospecting technique that's going to get you guys more clients. So by getting yourself out of that whole process and thinking about the positive things that can happen and what you need to do and recalibrating your focus, you were able to make that shift much faster than you would have, say, 4 or 5 years ago, because you got out of the negative cycle that you were in. So it was fascinating to watch that, and I want you to be aware that you did that in a much more concise time frame than you used to do.
Thank you for acknowledging that, and it just shows that it's always a process. Even though I completely believe to my core that what you think about, you create, doesn't stop me as a human being to go, oh my God, I don't have all these deals in escrow right now, which I don't. We have 4 that are pending, but they're later in the year, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do for January and February? And so as soon as I went down that fear path, because Matt knows, because I talked to him about it, I was in it for a short amount of time comparatively. Instead of like staying in that space, I kind of went through a process of feeling it. And then, and sometimes when you feel, and then I didn't feel well physically, which I know I probably created some of that. So now it adds and piles on. I don't have the energy to get up and do the things I want to do. And I just got into a funky space for a little bit, probably for a couple weeks. Yeah. And I was not feeling well. However, I was starting during that time of not physically feeling well to go back to the things I needed to do to get myself in the right mindset. But it's feeling, you have to feel it. You can't just think and do an affirmation and say, money is flowing abundantly to me and I have 3 clients I'm going to work with today, unless you really are believing it, and so you have to get yourself into that space, because it does work. You can manifest.
This is the important thing about that is what Jan's saying right here that is so key. It's okay to feel like that. As a matter of fact, you need to feel like that in order for you to make the changes to make yourself go the other direction and be more positive and to send yourself in the right path. So waking up and feeling like, oh my God, the world is falling down around me is not a bad thing. It's your opportunity to change that, right? But you have to understand the whole technique of how to do that.
It's so good, really, and it's okay because I'm always feeling like I have to always be doing something, and so it's hard for me to be sick and to take a couple days off. However, I let myself do that and then work myself through quicker than I used to get back to, and then certain things start to show up in your life that reinforce it. So, for example, yesterday, Cosmo and I told him, went out and I said, this was a great day, because we went out. The day was beautiful. First of all, it wasn't windy. It was 50 something degrees. It was sunshine. We went up to this new area in the Northwest. We did all these videos, and we tried. He showed me the new techniques to make them better for Instagram, and I got all invigorated because I took action. Instead of sitting around thinking about, all we have to do. I said, we went out and we've been doing it for like 2 weeks, and it's all starting to work again. And then of course that reinforces. So if you don't do videos, substitute what it is that you love and you do for your business and do it. And guess what? If you're not getting up every day wanting to go do the thing that attracts business, whether it's open house, FSBOs, expireds, calling, networking, whatever it is you do, if you're not loving it and you're not passionate about it, it's never going to work for you. You have to like it. You have to go. And that's what happened. I was like, I like doing the videos. I like interacting with people. Sometimes and Matt knows, sometimes the technical part of editing and the busy work of videos is not always fun. Yet using ChatGPT, it helps the matter so much more. And then we've gotten better at it. And then you get, so just like anything, the more you do it, the more experienced you become, the better you feel, the more confidence you have. And if you have to love it, you have to be passionate about it, or it's not going to work for you. So I know we say that all the time, but this is so, so critical. And even I cannot be 100% all the time. I mean, I guess I could. I don't want to say that, but I'm not 100% all the time always feeling that way. But when I recognize I'm going down that path, I know what I have to do to get myself back to feeling positive about it. And as long as you can make the adjustment quicker, everything's going to be okay. Yeah?
And here's the deal. What you just said about, feeling excited about it and it kind of getting you going, get you motivated. That's the small win, right? The small win helps you achieve the bigger goals. So always, always celebrate the small wins.
Okay. And so to finish up Truth One, there's always going to be people that need to buy and sell. We've just hit a whole bunch, but remember some practical tips. I just kind of really went on and on about whatever your niche is, what my niche is, and just getting reconnected to it and go do the thing that brings people to you. Plus, don't forget, revisit your pipeline. Who's already in your pipeline? Connect with your database, or just check in with them. How are they doing? Is anybody in your database thinking that even though this is happening or whatever rates, or maybe they're having a life event and you're not aware of it and they need to sell? We just had that happen the other day. We had a person we sold a house to a year ago say that, they need to move back to where they came from because of parents. And it's an opportunity that we're going to, get his house on the market, right? But what if you were the one to reach out, say, how's everything going? Happy New Year, right? So nurture, keep top of mind. That's normal, classic stuff, and that works too. Not just to generate new business, go back to the people you already know. All right, so let's go to number 2. Local expertise is your greatest asset. Now, this can apply if you're listening and you're not a real estate professional. You have to know what it is that you do, your market, if it's a service. Okay, so for real estate, being a local expert means you really know the housing market, what's going on in it, and you know the area, you know the inventory, you know that all the new homes, like we really know all our new home builders in the communities, and we're always aware of what's opening, and we go look at all that. We study the market. Cause1 in particular really studies the market stats and does a video on that. I do a monthly video on that. So we are in the market, and that brings confidence and professionalism. And if you can get that across when you're talking to people, whether you put all that in your newsletter, when you're just having those consultations and lead conversations, and then how you put it out there, if you do social and all that, that's how it all comes across. And people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. That's another truth. People are always going to want to work with people they know, like, and trust. So and we just talked about that in our last episode with Lorene. How do you build that rapport so people will trust and feel that they can trust you and that you're going to have their back, right? So, and so you have to be able to interpret all that information and not just regurgitate some stats that you get from your board. This is where your personal understanding of the market can come across, whether it be in your newsletter or a video or an email or a one-on-one conversation with your people. That's going to help you find also where the opportunities are because you're familiar with the market, right? So obviously the action items I just mentioned, you have to study the market. You have to always be a student of the market, and then share that hyperlocal content in the venues and the ways that you're going to do it. And I already mentioned, get ready. There's an onslaught of homeowners coming. Now, I personally, looking at what the Fed's saying, we don't really know until President Trump is in office and we look at what are really going to be the things. What's going to happen to here's what we have to stay on top of. What's happening with inflation, the economy, and jobs. Those are the main things in the bond market and all that is going to, and interest rates are completely going to drive builders building more or less, and people jumping into the market or not, buyers and sellers. Okay, so you have to stay on top of it. So one of those ways to do it is, in my opinion, is Mortgage News Daily. MortgageNewsDaily.com. Download that app. Let it tell you what the interest rates are doing, and there's always an article telling you what's going on. You'll learn everything you need to know just on why interest rates are moving. And then, because it'll give you all the data. Well, the jobs report came out, and I'm telling you, I've learned so much following that. And you kind of stay ahead of it. Matt, you know what's so interesting? So back in maybe September 17th, 18th, when the Fed did a 50 point, a half a point off the short-term interest rate, do you know how many realtors were running around saying, wow, the interest rates are going to go down 0.5%. Mortgage interest rates are going to go down 0.5%. Do you know that what happened was the interest rates for mortgages went up because of the other things that Jerome Powell and the Fed said and what they were indicating they were going to do, and the fact that the mortgage industry had already anticipated the 50 basis points and had already made the adjustments a couple weeks earlier. That's an example of expertise that you have to have if you're going to sell real estate. And if you don't understand what I just said, and I was a broker for years, and I didn't know it as well as I now know in these last 2 years of understanding why the mortgage interest rate moves. And I will tell you it's 100% because I read those articles and I get informed by Mortgage News Daily. It's powerful stuff. You don't have to go back to school and become a mortgage lender to understand it. You just need to know what resources you can trust, okay? So that's number 2. Be a local market and area expert and be able to share that and help people feel comfortable, which will, that's a truth. If you are that, no matter where you are going to be, but you have to do the work to get there, then you are going to be able to make the pivots and make these adjustments easier. And the last one I love, number 3, clarity plus action equals confidence. So part of what we just did in 2 is confidence, but here's the deal. We're talking here about the power of knowing your closing goals and numbers, okay? Mm-hmm. Stress and overwhelm definitely comes from a lack of clarity around what is your goals and what are your numbers and how many closings do you need to have? How many people do you need to serve this year to reach your goals or surpass your goals? Not just to survive and break even and pay your bills. What is that? And so this is the thought that I had when I was going through my little deal, okay? Like when I was allowing myself to go down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, is this true? Nobody's going to want to buy or sell real estate? That's not true. We're not going to attract anybody because TikTok's going away. Is that true? No, I had to go through that. Then I had to go, wait a minute. I don't need thousands of people to talk to. I just need 50 people who are going to want to buy and sell a house with us this year. 50 people. Actually, it's 44, but I'm throwing it out 50. Okay? Right. So we did 33 last year. So our new goal is 44. 44 people. So I'll stick with 44 because I love that number. 44 people. Okay, now I might have to talk to 100 people and have conversations to find the 44 people. But even that number is not outrageous. We have a tendency as human beings to make everything 10 times worse than it is. The sky is falling, the interest rates are high, all these things that the more you think about all that and the more you put your energy into it, that is where everything flows to. You get the reality of you don't attract anybody because you're basically saying nobody wants to buy right now. And if you actually believe that, then you get the experience of nobody wants to buy, where I can go, there's tons of people, there's thousands of people who are going to buy and sell. There's tens of thousands of people who are going to buy and sell this year in Las Vegas, and I don't need 10,000. I need 55. Oh, I even just went to 55. Look at that. 30. I went to 55. Whatever. I need 44. I need 44 people that actually want to buy and sell and work with us. Now, I might have to talk to 80 to get the 44, but I'm ready to do that because that's not hard. See how that difference that is? I think when we go down that path, we start going, oh, I have to have so many people. No, you have to have whatever your goals are. For some of you listening, it might be 20 people. You can't get 20 people. Now, here's the deal. You can't get 20 people if all you do is sit and worry about it and sit in your house and watch Netflix.
Well, that's
Okay.
the truth.
20 people aren't going to knock on your door and go, I know you're a real estate agent, Jan, and I have, telepathically knocked on your door because I want to be one of your 20 people. You just have to go out and do the things that will attract the 20 people that want to work with you. Okay. So know your numbers. It goes without saying, have a business plan, at least know your income goal, your budget on what it costs to live. And we do all this in our real estate sales builder program, and team builders that are out there and brokers that need a training program for their agents. You need to come check out our real estate sales builder certification program. If you're an agent listening, we have an entire module in our fundamental training on the basics of real estate and some mindset stuff here, but how to create a business plan and set your goals. Okay.
Right.
And it guides you through how much money do you need for your personal expenses to live, and how much money do you need for your business expenses, or you want to budget? How much money do you need to pay your taxes? And then how much profit do you want to make, so you can actually come up with an income goal that means something to you, and then use our formulas and our spreadsheets to let you break that down into how many transactions that you need, buyers and sellers, then how many connections you need to make based on your numbers. For example, to get 20 buyers, you might have to talk to 60 potential buyers because it's a 3-to-1 ratio, or maybe it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Anyway, knowing those kind of numbers is where the power is. Now you have the clarity. Now you can focus on controllable actions, such as what you're going to do. And you know what I'm going to say, Matt?
I do.
Do the daily. You're going to do the daily. And the daily is simply this. We're just going to remind you. We're going to have it in the show notes. Matt has this beautiful. Here, I'll take it because I'm taking it off my computer right now.
Yeah, mine's on the wall over here. So
here it is right here. There's a little graphic, and do the daily. I don't even need this to tell you what it is. Number 1 is a morning routine. That's for you. It's a mindset. It's what does it take for you to do something for yourself? Even if it's a 10-minute walk and that's all you do, you're doing something for yourself. Instead of rolling out of bed and picking up the phone and starting to jump into your emails and texts, okay? Or scroll social. Do something for yourself. Meditate, yoga, walk, whatever it takes. Do something that's for you. Number 2 is lead generation, 1 to 2 hours a day. For Cosmo and I, we have it on our calendar, lead generation. We meet in the mornings, many mornings, unless we're going out, and we develop our scripts and we get clarity around what our content's going to be. And that's what we do. Number 3 is following up with the leads you already have. That includes your database, your sphere of influence, your past clients, and then nurturing the pipeline. So on a daily basis, who are the people that I need to talk to? Your CRM can help you a lot with that. Matt, I'm back to embracing a CRM. I moved to a new company, and they have a really great website and a CRM, and we are going to embrace the CRM.
wow.
It's mainly to tell us who should we talk to today, okay? And to track our pipeline and so forth. And that number 4 is your active clients, and that just simply means you focus on active clients when you have them, but not meaning that you do all these other things and never do 2 and 3, which is lead gen and then lead follow-up. So active clients are going to take your priority today if you have them. But, wouldn't it be wonderful if you had active clients every day? Don't wish for that, because you couldn't handle it, first of all. You would have to handle them. You cannot work with a new client every day. So as I just said, if my goal is 44, or even stick with 48, that's 4 a month. I have to have 4 active people I'm working with to hit those goals, right? So that's what can you imagine trying to handle 20 active buyers? You'd have to have a team, which is fine. We know how to help you with that. So if all of a sudden you do have a new active client every single day, then you got to talk to us about team building and how you can pick the ones that you want to work with and leverage income for you because you have other people taking those leads. That would be a beautiful problem to have.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
see what I mean? That's the reality. We're not talking about 365, or if we took weekends out, how many days are there if you take the weekends out? Will you tell me? Can you?
Minus 52. So 300 and something. 300 for 300 and
No,
what?
5 days a week.
Yeah, you just take the weekends out. You take the weekends out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How many days is it?
Well, I don't know,
Can you
200 and
ask?
something.
Can you ask Alfred? Well, I just want to know.
I don't have to ask Alfred. It's just 365 minus 104.
Okay, and then 2 weeks of vacation. And take that out.
Well, you keep talking, and I will.
All right. Anyway, Matt's going to get that information for us, because even if you had whatever that is, you couldn't handle it, is the whole point I'm making. So again,
Yeah,
stay focused on your
exactly.
numbers. All right, so the do the daily. Last one is admin. Admin is everything else. And the mistake many agents make is they do 5 all the time. They skip everything else, and if they happen to have an active client, they're all about it, and then they're doing all this other stuff, which is managing your escrows. That's important, okay? But you can getting ready to get ready, doing your homework, doing this, going here, and not actually, which allows you to not, if you're in that mindset of admin and you're stuck in that hole, then you're not lead generating, you're not lead following up. So everybody gets it. That's do the daily. It's a simple formula. Not always easy if you don't actually do the things that are going to get you business, which is lead gen and follow up. Okay. So
and that number is 246.
Okay. So 204. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Alfred. 246 days.
Well, that was actually me. That wasn't even AI. So
you just knew that. All right. Well,
you can do things on your own.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. We do believe in collaborating with our AI, and not letting it completely do everything for you. Right? Frankly, you still have to do the work. You still have to go do the thing that you're working with it on. Anyway, that's powerful stuff. So here's the key: you got to get out of the scarcity mindset. It's abundance, not fear. It's abundance, not scarcity. Focusing those things will allow you to, one thing that we know every day when you get up, you have one thing you can control. Only one thing. So many things are outside of our control. What's going to happen with the economy? Well, why even worry about that? You're going down the rabbit hole of listening to the media about whatever. That is all fear-based and sensationalism, so that you'll pay attention and kind of like not be in this abundance mindset, right? I mean, when's the last time that we had a channel that literally played nothing but positive stories? There isn't one that I'm aware of. It was there's fires. This is happening.
Our year-end podcast was the only place you could find that news.
Yeah, and we had to get some help finding those because they're not in the. If you go in even using AI, what were the headlines? It was mostly negative.
Yeah.
In the mainstream media, the mainstream and the alternative stream. I don't even care what you're talking about.
It wasn't mainstream media. Yeah, that's just there's even more in the nonsense, made up media.
But the one thing that you can control is where I was going with this is your reaction to things and your mindset. That is all you can control. How are you going to deal with things today? Are you going to get up and come from this abundance mindset? Or are you going to come from fear because something triggered you? That's up to you. That's where your reality changes. That's where your experience changes. And that's what we're talking about today. Take these actionable steps, okay? So let's give you a couple little practical tips and then a couple little last minute things. So gratitude, right? It always comes back to how to stay grounded and productive. When you reflect on your past successes and stay focused on the thing, gratitude is one of the easiest ways to be present in the moment and shift into a positive mindset. We talk about it all the time. Matt has been posting a month or so ago starting in November, had tons of stuff up about gratitude. And it's so powerful. It's just as easy as that. Negative. And now I'm going to just focus every day in the morning or throughout the day and say, I am grateful for the opportunity, to be able to do this work today so I can attract the client. I mean, that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Lean on your sphere of influence. Get back and connect with the people that you already know and nurture that. Trust that you already have people. If you've been working for a while, you have people that you know. Start there. And then the last one here about being able to stay grounded and productive is always, always, always learn. Keep learning. It's nonstop. There's always something to learn. Commit to more professional and personal development. Any skills that you need to work on that you haven't really, you realize I really don't know how to do listings. I've been doing buyers for 2 years. Maybe you start to focus on that so you can get yourself ready to find people, because you could attract people that need to buy and sell a house and maybe buy one now because of life events. But you can also be ready if and when the rates come down, which I personally think is going to be 2 years, okay? But you'll be ready for it. Meanwhile, there's still going to be people that need to sell their house, okay? So find them. All right, so actionable steps today are going to be, here's the thing where we want to challenge you. What did we talk about in here today that you can put into action? You don't have, just what's one thing that you're going to do that you're going to put into action now to start shifting and having things that are going to help you feel more confident, what to focus on, where to find those opportunities in your market, where do you find those people that need to buy or sell or both right now? How do you do that? So we hope that can help you a little bit with, not feeling overwhelmed and stressed, right? Anything to add, Mr. Matt?
No, it's all good stuff. I mean, you really covered all of the key points right there. It really is about those. Those are the three truths, right? Just focus on those, and it'll make your life easier.
And to that point of always be learning, if you need help on getting back to the basics and putting your systems in place, go tell them what they can do there. And then let's talk about our 3 core programs for anybody that's thinking about building a team or a broker that needs a training program.
Yep, just get over to our website at WBNLcoaching.com. Go to our courses page. We have Real Estate Sales Builder. That's an individual course for individual agents. You know, if you want to just brush up in your skills, build a stronger foundation, learn, and get clear on what your numbers are. Real Estate Sales Builder is for you. We have Real Estate Team Builder if you are a small broker or a team leader looking to actually put a team into place or to strengthen your brokerage. Once again, about building the foundation, making sure you have all your systems in place so you can duplicate, grow, and actually, have an exit strategy. That's over there on our site too. That's Real Estate Team Builder. And then we have a certification course if you are a team or a small broker and you want to train Real Estate Sales Builder to your agents. We have a certification course that not only gives you the tools for your training program, but also teaches you how to actually train the course with actual manual to go into each one of the lessons. And we give active scripts that you can use to train your agents and action steps that they can go out and do all their training. So 3 great courses for anywhere you are in the real estate business that will get you up and running and thriving and clear, because clear and clarity really is the point of what we're talking about today.
Right
WBNLcoaching.com courses.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
Let's go, people. Find the opportunities. They're there for you. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. No stress.
It all gets back to hey, Jen O'Brien, switching gears, getting off the real estate thing here for a second. We have been housebound here in Southern California because of the winds, and it's been a little bit terrifying over the last, week and a half, whatever it's been. The devastation has been beyond horrific. Yeah, I'm sure that most people can't avoid seeing a lot of the images when you go on television or go through, scrolling through online.
Are you going anywhere near any of that devastation, or you have?
We're not. We're over 55 miles away, 60 miles away from even probably 50 miles away from that Altadena fire.
Any of your friends or family seen it?
I've known a lot of people that have seen flames from their homes, have been evacuated, have been worried about being evacuated. And here's the thing, Southern California in the last 5-10 years, because of the conditions and things just have been drier than they normally have. We haven't had the rainfall, and 1 year of good rain does not really solve the problem. All that really does is create more brush that will dry and become your tinder. So
Tinder for the file, or kindling for the fire.
We're all kind of used to this whole thing. This Santa Ana event that came through this last month has been the worst that we've had ever. Well, as far as while my time here in Southern California, the worst we've ever had. And it's just been really, really bad. It's been very intense, and it's been ongoing. So it was on for a week. It was windy. So anyway, enough of all that. But everybody is prepared. We have been evacuated from our home before, so we had our go bags ready. As a matter of fact, just this morning I took things out and kind of put things back where we know they are, but not like right at the ready, literally at the front door, in case we needed to get out in a fast. Because a lot of those people had minutes of warning before things.
Wow, it makes you realize you do need a go bag, don't you?
Well, you do need to go back. You do.
With important documents and what you need, medicine.
We've had one, and you need to make sure that you have all your stuff ready to go. If your important paperwork and all that stuff. If you need to get out of your place. But my point of that was not to go into the whole thing. And obviously, our hearts go out to everyone. That it's going to be an interesting rebuilding process here in Southern California. We can talk about all that later, but it's going to be very exciting because we can actually go do things this weekend. We can actually get out of the house and not worry about being home. So I'm jazzed. I'm all like hyper today because it's like, woohoo! I've already been out doing my walk, doing my stuff this morning, and the weather is beautiful. We are actually, I don't know if you've seen Wicked already, but we're actually going to see Wicked. Now, we're only about a month and a half late on that, but we're going to go see Wicked this weekend.
You're going to go see it in the theater?
We are, and we're going to a theater. Now, how exciting.
It's streaming, and I watched it streaming.
Yeah, no, we decided, you know what? That's a movie. We're going to go see it in the theater, and it's going to be kind of...
Well, I can't wait you have to tell me what you think, because I loved it.
Yeah, I will love it too. We saw the Broadway. We saw we saw it on Broadway, but we also have seen it. We've seen the play 3 times. It's a great story. It's a great story, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So that's going to be fun. And then there's a new Bob Dylan movie out too.
Oh, that's what I really want to go see.
And we're going to maybe go see that on Sunday at a theater as well. So we're kind of, it's like,
complete
whoa,
unknown.
giddy about going out. Isn't that scary?
See that? All you got to do, man, focus on the good stuff. Find the good stuff, even in when things are stressful and overwhelming, which those fires definitely have been, especially if you live in California. Lordy.
I know, yeah.
So as the wind died down, are the fires all out, or is there still some fires?
No. They're not even 50% contained, those two big ones.
Really?
They're still raging. I don't believe at this point there are any evacuation orders still in place.
So are they still hitting residential areas, or are they back up into the mountains?
It's all back into the mountains now, into the hills
forest,
and stuff like that. So, but the wind is completely gone. At least in our area, is completely gone. It's supposed to kick up again a little bit next week, but it's not Santa Ana winds next week. They're onshore winds, so it's a whole different ball game. It's cooler water from the oceans and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it's been a time. But to look out the window and to go outside and to be totally calm is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Although, it's getting calm for us here on the West Coast, but everywhere, practically in the whole rest of the country, it's going to be like
about to have a winter storm,
sub-zero. So it's always something.
Yeah, it was 37 degrees this morning when I went out on an appointment. My car said low temperature alert.
Now, we always laugh because there's a little thing on the Audi. It's like a little snowflake appears when it gets to be a certain degree. And then Laura, she'll call me in the morning like, oh my God, it's snowflake today. Which is,
All right. I love it. All right, everybody. Awesome stuff. Have a great, great, productive, powerful week until next week.
And be forever wandering but not lost.
You bet.
Oops, push the wrong button. End recording.